Hello, people! Thanks for joining me. I'm Scott, and this is episode 3 of the carbon fiber guitar repair. This old Epiphone Olympic had a couple extra holes in it, so I filled them all up. And now I'm working on pore filling. And the way I do it, and I think is the easiest way I've ever come across, is first I wipe the whole guitar with the Scotch Brite Maroon, which is kind of like hitting it with 320 grit. And then I take 2-pound cut shellac and I apply it with the pad, just like that, to the whole guitar. After I wipe it with naphtha. So I clean it with the Scotch Brite. I wipe it with naphtha. That gets all the old dirt and grease and grime off of it. And then I start wiping it with shellac. I do about 5-6 coats. And at that point I'm ready to do my pore filling, which is something that's I've been asked to demonstrate a little more closely. And I did a video a few months back where I was working on a StewMac guitar kit that I used this technique. What I do is I take pumice, and this is the super fine 4 grind of pumice. Try not to hit your guitar like I just did. I don't know why it's not coming out very good, but I put it on the guitar, and then I take a different pad. I use a different pad for the straight up shellac and a brand new one here for the pumice application, the grain filling. And when it's time to do the grain filling, I don't use the shellac, I just use denatured alcohol. And I get the pad pretty wet. See right here, it takes quite a bit to get it wet once it's full of pumice. But you can see on this piece of paper here that it's getting wet. Yeah, and then you go in with little circles. It's creating a slurry. It's filling all the grain, all the pores. So again, we're going to zoom in on this next application here. Okay, now we're going to hit this area here. Going to wet my pad again with the alcohol. You don't want to go over one area and keep going over. You want to move it around, because you will lift it right back out of there. You stay on one area too long. It dries almost instantly, so you can kind of come back over the area that you just did. After you move away from it, you can move back towards it. But don't just stay on that one area for too long. Alright, it feels dry already. But I like to let it sit overnight, and then I come in and I hit it one more time with the maroon, and then I'm ready to put my lacquer over top. Yeah, you can lacquer right over top of shellac, actually, as long as they're all fresh. Now, if you had, and I've done this, and I know it doesn't work, if you have an old guitar that's shellac finish, like an old Ramirez, if you go spraying lacquer right over that old shellac, if it's like 50-year-old shellac, that lacquer will not be compatible with that old shellac, because the old shellac is going to have cracks and checking lines in it, and that lacquer won't be able to flow correctly over top of that crackle. It'll look really bad. So this is pore filling made easy, the way I would like to say it. Because I've tried all the other stuff that's available, and it's all a lot of work compared to this. This is easy peasy. We'll have this guitar painted black in no time. You'll notice with this pumice, it's an abrasive, so I'll have to change this muslin out a couple times. Look at this. It's already got a hole in it. See that? Wore a hole right through it already. I can keep using this gauze, put it in a new piece of muslin, or I can get a fresh piece. Fun stuff, before I paint it black, I stamped those numbers in there, because originally they were just kind of, I don't know if they were rolled on with a type of ink, I guess, but since it's getting painted black, that would have all been covered up, so I went ahead and stamped that in there. Now I'm going to finish the pour filling on the neck. Few nice wet coats of shellac. Kind of like putting powdered sugar on the French toast. And there's no shellac in this pad, although as I rub over the existing layer, it's picking some of it up. Pour filling does not get easier than this, guys. And it's a really good result, like you saw on that StewMac kit. It comes out so smooth. And if you ever feel like you're starting to, like you're trying to rub your belly and tap your head at the same time, you just stop and collect yourself, take a breath, and decide whether you want to go clockwise or counterclockwise. And that's good enough for me. Come back tomorrow, sand it down, start spraying. The weather's good. Close-up view. Got the guitar held in place by one clamp. It's one of those Rockler clamps. I had to get a nice firm surface so I could pound those numbers in. It's only the second time I've done that. Turned out pretty good. Okay, I've got it all wiped down with tack cloth. I've got the eye screw for hanging it in the garage. I've masked off the original yellow paint that was in there. Put some paper towels down in the inserts. I taped off the fretboard and the fretboard edges with this black. Once I spray the guitar with black, I'll peel off this edge to reveal the fingerboard. I've also masked off the truss rod. So it's ready for the black paint. Take it down there and spray it in the window. Okay, I just got in from doing 2 coats of black. Headstock's looking good. You remember that weird round thing that was in there? The back of the headstock looking really good because the number stamp came out great. I'm going to show you a little something about the tape. I wanted to scrape away the fretboard edges and talk about some things. This is the first time for me using this cloth tape, so I'm hoping it comes off well. It seems okay. See, I've got to scrape that brown paint that I painted on there. Scrape that back down to the raw rosewood. And oh, the thing I wanted to say about the tape is after you do your color, I mean, if you're doing black, great, but if you're doing a different color, don't spray any clear finish on there until after you peel off your tape. Because if you spray a couple coats of clear and you need to do a little touch-up and scraping around this line, it's going to be a whole lot messier if you have to scratch through a thicker coat. So bring it in, get in some really good lighting, magnification, whatever you need to do. Do your scraping, and then go ahead and put on your clear coats. There. A little bit of the original color still left on there. I would have never done that if I wouldn't have gotten complaints from you guys on YouTube. Remember last year's video about the TV yellow Gibson Les Paul double cut? Someone went ape shit because I sprayed TV yellow over the original TV yellow. That ape shit person is one of those guitar repair control freaks. But I think he had a good point. Leave as much of it, the original, on there as you can. I mean, why not? I think it's okay. Now I'm going to scrape this little moon, if I can figure out exactly what shape it is. Blue moon. I got a joke for you. Why did the guitar cross the road? To get to the other slide. Dang, I wish I would have masked this off a little clearer, because I can't tell where the hell the original moon was. Boy. Okay, this is going to take a while. But this is one of the reasons he wanted to paint it black, is because he wanted to make this little moon pop out. I was like, okay. And you can see here my grain fill, it's not 100%. It's pretty good, but there's a couple grain lines. Remember, this light brown stuff was that General Finishes Endurovar 2 polyurethane. I mixed it with that color. I think that was in episode 2. And then I got the call because I was posting a YouTube short, and a customer subscribed to the YouTube channel and happened to see it like immediately while I was working on the guitar, and he said, let's go black. So I was like, oh shit, because I don't need to paint this brown, because I was excited to show everybody how I paint in the grain lines and stuff. But I'm happy to show you a black finish too. I like the way you can't really see the carbon fiber lines. I can see some weird stuff going on the peg head, the edge of the peg head. I don't know what that is. I think I'll just, at this point, since I already sprayed the black, I'll just spray some lacquer build coats over that area, around the carbon fiber transition area, and I'll let it cure for a week, and then maybe 2 weeks, and then I'll wet sand it and spray my final satin or flat coat. It's right here. It's bumpy. It must be epoxy. I can actually drop fill some lacquer in there too. That might be a good idea. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right there on that edge. See that bump? We can make that look better. I missed that. Typically you want to get it smoother than this before you lay down your color, but it's hard to catch some of these defects. There we go. Doesn't that look good? It'll look better after I put the clear satin coat on. Not bad. I don't know what I was thinking yesterday. You know, I haven't started my clear coats yet, so I may as well just sand this flat and spray it black again. It's actually a lot less work to scrape this, even though it's a little messy. Sand it and respray it, because I'm going back down to spray the clears. I'll just spray this black part, wait a half hour, and then I'll start the clears. So a little scrape, a little sandy with the 120. Must be epoxy. That was easy. Alright. That way, during my clear coat process, it'll just be, you know, like maybe 6 coats of clear, maybe a light scuff, and that final coat of, I think we're going with a flat finish, clear coat as the last coat. Now we're ready for action. It's been a week since my final coat. I'm going to drop some naphtha on this masking tape to help it release. This masking tape gets real gummy, and the adhesive gets real sticky after being around all them solvents and stuff and being on there for a week. I always use a glove, and then I basically throw the glove out because it's got this sticky shit all over it. And my total finishing schedule kind of looked like this, guys. I went out there and I sprayed 2 coats of the black the first day, and that's just the color tone aerosol black. Didn't even use half a can for this small guitar. Then I shoot. Usually I wait the next day. I give it a little, like I go over the black with a little bit of like a razor blade, kind of scrape off the dust and stuff, any little fibers, fuzzies or whatever that land on it. Just kind of, you know, give it a real light scuff just to take the dust off. And then I do a couple light mist coats of gloss lacquer, and that's with my air compressor out of my touch-up gun. And then I do 2 good wet heavy coats of the gloss. Not enough to create or build up an orange peel, just enough to give me a nice surface to spray the 2 final coats of the Ultra Flow, and that's the Mohawk flat clear lacquer. Comes in a rattle can. It's an aerosol flat Ultra Flow. It's not stringed instrument grade lacquer. It's furniture stuff, but it is nitro, and like I did in the last video, it's very compatible with the other stuff. And I find myself mixing 3 different brands of nitro a lot. I use Color Tone, Mohawk, and Minwax once in a while for build coats. I had to clean out these inserts big time, man. They had like a pound of sawdust and weird Teflon tape residue and stuff. Got them all cleaned up and vacuumed out. Now I'm going to work on these here tuners. I've got a set of 3 on a plate old tuners from the Kalamazoo factory. These came off a 66 Gibson LGO acoustic guitar. The bushings are just golden age bushings. The low E bushing is actually screwed up from the first repair, whoever did. It broke across that area, and see how it's not sitting right? It's they drilled it a little bit wrong. I think I'm gonna have to take these off and make some adjustments so that it works correctly. It's kind of binding on the bushing. The post is binding on the bushing post. The String Tech workstation works great for putting on and installing new tuners because you can get the back of the headstock perfectly horizontal. That's kind of a hard task in almost any repair shop, finding a fixture to hold your guitar this way. Ah, the genius of Mike McConville and String Tech workstations. Found me a little P90 to put in there for now. He didn't bring me a pick guard or a pickup or an output jack or a volume knob. I put this little cloth here because I do fret work over here, and sometimes that fret dust gets on this area, and a freshly painted neck like this, I could scratch it up pretty good. So the carbon fiber repair is holding up pretty good. I don't see it headstock snapping off. So let's find us an output jack and an amplifier and see what she sounds like. I love the way my numbers turned out. Got a little output jack wired up with some alligator clips here. We'll get this one on the ground, and we'll get this one on the hot lead. And we have liftoff. Oh wow! Let's see how she plays. Hold on a minute here. Well guys, I sure am glad you waited around for a few months to see the outcome here. I can't really flop it around too much because that jack is just dangling from an alligator clip. And but I can jam on it for a second.